We are currently recording. Welcome. I'd like to turn this over really quickly to the Chair of the County Commissioners for Lee County, and that would be Amy Dalrymple. Amy, please go ahead. When you're unmuted, you should be able to give us a quick welcome.
Yes, just very quickly, Sheryl, I just want to say hello to everyone. I'm not quite sure who all's on this evening, but I appreciate your time and your commitment to helping us see this through, and I'm excited to get started, so I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you. I'd also like to point out you're looking at Jamie Brown. Jamie, can you give us a wave? Jamie, I'd like her to introduce herself to you, but she's been instrumental in helping us coordinate the strategic plan process. Jamie.
Hi, everyone. I just want to echo our board chair in saying thank you for joining us this evening and taking some time to give us your feedback as we develop the strategic plan. Zach will talk more about our strategic planning process, but since I started with the county a few years ago, it's been a goal to move a strategic plan forward for the county, because this will really be kind of the framework for our discussions as we move forward through the years, and our roadmap for how we want to get to our shared vision for the future. So thank you for weighing in. It's really important to have the community input in the plan, because we want our plan not just to reflect where we think we should go, but really where our community thinks we should go. And we know COVID has impacted a little bit some of our other community engagement efforts and plans for strategic planning. So we're really happy that those of you who could join us tonight are here. So I'll turn it back over to Sheryl. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a few quick housekeeping things. I'm pretty sure you are all well too familiar with Zoom, but just in case, really quickly across the bottom of the screen, on the far left, you should see a mute button. You are all currently muted, and at the end, when we go for live question and answer, you can be unmuted and you can feel free to ask any question that you might want of us in real life over the microphone. If you prefer to ask us questions via the Q&A, that's a great place to do that, or via the chat room is also a great place to do that. Feel free at any time to send a message to the chat. I'll be monitoring that while Zach is speaking, so he doesn't have to do 84 things at once. And I think that's it. We are recording again, so we will be able to play this back. We will let you know where our link is to post it. We will have some contact information in the chat box for you, and links to the survey will be in the chat box as well as on the presentation. And I think that's it for me. I'd like to introduce you to Zach Ratkai. Zach is a professional facilitator. He has a strong background in local government, as most of us at SBrand Consulting do. He's got a great background in pretty much every aspect of government you can think of. We've been working together for, I don't know, Zach, 10 years or so now?
Yeah, it's around there.
I have a lot of stories about Zach if you need any. But I'd like to turn it over to him, and I will mute myself and turn my face off so you don't have to look at me and you can focus on Zach. Zach, please introduce yourself and go right ahead.
All right, thank you. Yes, as Sheryl said, Zach Ratkai, coming to you in this pandemic format for a community meeting all the way from Washington State. And here, excited to work with you, and I'll go into a little bit more detail about myself in a little bit. So good evening to everyone, and welcome the community members to this virtual community meeting. We are here tonight to introduce and solicit comments about the Lee County Government Strategic Plan. This is a 10-year plan going on from 2020 to 2030, conceivably. We appreciate everyone that has joined us this evening, as well as those who have participated in the survey released a couple of months ago, which closes on Friday, July 3rd. So if you have not contributed to the survey yet, we are asking that you take the survey and provide Lee County with a little bit more information, as well as tell your friends and neighbors. This is all about you, and this is a chance for you to shape your community for the next 10 years. You'll see how in a little bit, but remember, this is a place for you to contribute to the success and to build the community that you want to see. It is all about you. So as I said, we are virtual. I appreciate you attending. And as I said before, I'm Zach Ratkai. I've got 16 years of local government experience and currently working in Washington State. I've worked for a number of cities in my career in Colorado and Washington. My background is rooted in land use and economic development, but my passions center around strategic management and successful community-based local government, which is why we're here tonight. I'm super excited to work with Lee County, and my introduction to the people in Lee County as my recent visit to the area really solidified that excitement. I'm really glad to be part of this journey with all of you. So why have a strategic plan? What are we trying to achieve? A strategic plan chronicles a shared vision for the future. In its creation, at its inception, as well as the dialogue the community has in it, references that dialogue throughout the entire document. It fosters increased communication. In this, it builds stronger relationships and provides a benchmark guide for the alignment for the county's focus areas, goals, and more specifically, the daily work. Most importantly, however, it sets a realistic expectation for the future. The foundational questions when creating the plan are what the community needs to consider. What do you all want to accomplish, and what are the benefits going to be when you are successful? The purpose. A strategic plan is fortified with purpose. Its very creation involves the community, a holistic approach to provide collective direction. From this direction, budgetary decisions can be made to help serve the mission's role in achieving the vision. The plan provides actionable items that support the mission and vision. It offers a clear and focused message on the county's intent and is also an informational tool for the community. A plan helps provide information to prospective residents, new businesses and industries seeking to relocate to Lee County, and is often a required document for state and federal grant programs. In a sense, a strategic plan shows that your community is serious about shaping its future and provides the vision of the future with the steps to back it up. Continuing on the benefits of a strategic plan, not only does it aid in decision-making, or what we discussed before in guiding the budgetary decisions of the future, but it also guides what services to add to the community, what to augment, what to enhance, and maybe even what to eliminate. This unified vision also guides Lee County government in who they would want to partner with to achieve the community's vision, or in the case of the great foundation already created in your community, who Lee County government would want to continue partnering with to ensure success over the next 10 years. So what is the process? Where do we begin? SBrand has already been working with Lee County government staff, talking about the community with elected officials and various stakeholders around Lee County, and has been seeing great preliminary results from the community survey. But from a starting point, what happens first and what are the steps along the way? It starts with these questions. In a sense, what's an assessment of the current state of the county? Where are we now? Where are we going? And how will we get there? As you can see, there are deeper questions to ask to further drive details for the plan and the future of the county. It is important that these are answered as honestly as possible. Some communities may be in a state wherein these are tough assessments, and for some communities, these may be more confirmations of current success. Many communities have a little bit of both. A strategic plan can be one document, one concept, but it really is a culmination of a number of things building to a common goal. Take the road trip approach seen here. What is your ultimate destination? How do you see Lee County government in 10 years? That is your vision, down on the horizon at the end of the road with a welcoming rainbow, your pot of gold in a sense. With that in mind, how do you get there? First, you need to identify your what. What is your mission? What is your purpose for the community? Your why is next. Why do you do it? This is where you identify your values. Next, in order to achieve your vision, by conducting your vision, going about your business in accordance with your mission and your values, what are your goals? Your goals should focus on the little steps you need to achieve your vision. Your goals then drive your priorities, or what you will focus on to get to the vision. Strategies provide your methods to sustaining the momentum of your goals and how the everyday work for the county to keep the mission and vision front and center. Objectives help drill further in, allowing a more detailed, task-driven approach to getting there. And action steps are the daily work of your organization in the community and their mission, the small approaches that build upon each other to bring about large achievements. So what has Lee County government done so far? Input and discerning this current state of the county is paramount. Also from this, Lee County government can build to a new mission, vision, and values for the next 10 years. Lee County government has conducted interviews already. We, along with the government, along with Lee County government, have interviewed elected officials, staff members, partner stakeholders in the community, ranging from citizens to business owners to officials in the education realm. Our survey has been out, and once again, that's another reminder that the survey does close Friday, July 3rd, so make sure you get in there and take the survey if you haven't done all that already. We are in the community meeting right now, and the steering committee has met in a long session a couple weeks ago with plans to build upon the great success in that meeting in late July. As a reminder, once again, the survey sunsets on July 3rd. That's this Friday. So please go to the Lee County government website or their various social media platforms and take the survey if you haven't already. Additionally, tell your friends and neighbors to do so as well. We do have a link in the chat box for this Zoom meeting, so real easy access. Make sure you take care of that survey and get the information out. So community engagement leads to implementation and action. And here's what the schedule looks like specifically to the Lee County strategic plan. So we kicked off this plan in February, March, around then. Of course, the COVID pandemic happened, put it on hold. We were able to conduct a visioning session with the county commissioners on March 13th. Takes us just over 3 months ahead of time to where we did do an update on June 15th with the county commissioners and conducted our first advisory group steering committee team meetings with Lee County government staff on June 16th. Interviews have been going on with various stakeholders and elected officials in the community from April through July. And the survey, once again, which ends July 3rd, is currently in action right now. We will be doing another team meeting to build upon goals and objectives with our key areas of focus on July 24th, with the first draft of the plan being released on July 27th. Board consideration will be August 17th, with a community meeting, an introduction and unveiling of the strategic plan the next day on August 18th. From our advisory group meeting, as well as through a visioning exercise with the Commissioner Board, the vision for the strategic plan is Lee County government is a celebrated community seen as the center for economic advancement and cultural heritage connected to the people. This is your future vision. This is your plan. This is what the community will look like in 10 years. Many aspects of this are already in place, and this is where the foundation of the strategic plan will be built around. Next, the daily mission, what drives Lee County in their service to the community. Lee County government cultivates a community of collaboration and innovation through visionary leadership and dedicated service. This is the what and the why. This is what Lee County government will have in mind in their daily service to the community, culminating into the achievement of the vision, which we saw on the previous slide. The core values for Lee County government are as follows: serving with integrity, inclusivity, being accountable, maintaining competence, being visionary, and being a welcoming community. And these are the foundations upon which Lee County government will operate in order to serve the community and achieve the long-term vision. So what areas of focus will be prioritized in the next 10 years? These key areas of focus are partnerships, health and well-being, arts and culture, economic development, education, and community safety. These are currently in progress. We have identified these as the key areas of focus for the 10-year strategic plan, and we will provide the details under each of these areas of focus around which goals, objectives, and action steps will be created to drive the organization of the next 10 years. This will be conducted at our next meeting with the Steering Committee Advisory Group. So what's next? Building upon what Lee County government has done so far, staff will identify specific tasks and goals for each key area of focus. This is where the details will come in. This is where progress will take root and results will come in as well. There will be tasks with due dates, specific accountable parties or responsible people to implement and accomplish those tasks, and identification of resources, whether they be staff, monetary, or just mere in-kind resources. Those will be identified for what is needed to achieve the goals. So what's next? We want to hear from you, the community, this evening. Any feedback or thoughts on this? Any ideas? Anything you bring about to us will be used in the refinement of the plan and formation of the action items that will be used to implement the plan. So here's what's coming up. As we stated before, once again, surveys due on July 3rd. So that's this Friday. Please take the survey, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We will be meeting with the team and discussing a first draft of the plan in late July. We will be seeking completion in mid-August and presenting it again to the commissioners and the community on those dates. And as Sheryl has stated before, the contact, general email for any questions, additional comments. Should we have some discussion this evening and you want to follow up on some items or an idea pops in your head over the next coming weeks, please feel free to email this email right here, LCG strategic plan at leecountync.gov. And we will do our best to answer any questions you have and solicit that input for the creation of the plan. At this point, Sheryl, I'm going to see if we have any questions over chat or what we do next.
Hello again, Zach. Well, I'm thinking either you did just the most awesome job ever or you confused everybody. I'm not sure which, so pick yours. But right now we don't have any questions. So this is the time. We have the opportunity to have some very good conversations with you. So don't feel, nervous or anything about just shouting it out. You can unmute yourself. I have offered you all that opportunity to do so. If you've been on Zoom before too, the other thing you can do is you can kind of, raise your hand. You've heard that on these webinars. You can raise your hand with an emoticon. You can do all sorts of things. So first I'd like to check in with Amy, and then I'd like to check in with Jamie and see if you have anything that we missed that you would like to add to the conversation. Amy.
No, I think, Zach, you did a great job. I'm still sort of amazed that we were able to come up with all of that in such a short time when we met with you last. No, I'd just like to throw it out to the group, and Zach, I don't know if you can put those slides up again or not, but, our mission statement or, vision or some of the values. If anybody wants to weigh in on any of that, I mean, you're not going to hurt our feelings if you want something changed or tweaked.
Thank you, Amy. And I would definitely echo that in the sense that we'll be, as you heard, working on this plan all the way through the end of July and likely into August as we make tweaks. Right. So you have lots of time. And we're really waiting on some of the feedback from the survey to even further refine this as well. So I know you're laughing at me right now about surveys because we've mentioned it 42 times, but really. So I have a question that came up on the chat, and then if there's anything Jamie would like to add, I'm going to go to her. So Zach, here's the question, and you may need to ask Amy or Jamie on some of these as well. Kimberly wants to know, have any partnerships with local schools or educators been considered or are in development to engage the youth of Lee County? And Kimberly, I'm going to assume you mean engaging in the strategic plan itself. So if you were headed a different direction, let me know. So Zach, can you speak to that at all? I do know before the onset of the pandemic, we had printed or had planned to print hard copy postcards and hard copy flyers. And we were planning on sending them home with the school children of school age to take home. And it would have talked about the survey and the dates and the community meetings. And of course, that just didn't happen. Zach, can you add to that? And then maybe Jamie.
I think from our level of working with the stakeholders in the community, we have had involvement with Central Carolina Community College from an administration level, a lot of the partnership programs they're doing for workforce development. From a K-12 standpoint, we did speak and interview with some administrators of the local school district. But as far as engagement of direct school children or school-age children, that has not happened yet in this plan. If that was to be a priority area or to bring in more youth involvement in local government, that can certainly be something we can integrate into the key areas of focus and plan for in the subsequent years.
Jamie, is there anything you first, and then I'll go to Amy, and then we have a question from Angelina on the table in a moment. Jamie?
So I would just echo what you said earlier, Sheryl, in that unfortunately, some of our engagement efforts or plans to engage the youth really got hung up when COVID hit, and a lot of attention by the county was focused on other issues, and we kind of put the plan on hold. And then when we circled back around, there was schools were out, so it was a little more difficult. So I don't think we've done it as much as we had hoped to originally. The other thing I'll say just about strategic planning generally, though, is that, this isn't the type of plan where we complete the plan and then we're done and we talk about it in a few years again. Really, once a strategic plan is done, what'll be built into the planning system is a constant review of where we're at and where we're going. So while I'm not sure how much input we'll be able to solicit for the input on this original plan, what I would say is that in the upcoming year, so over the next 12 months, we will be constantly looking for ways to engage the community, to get them more involved and weighing in on our programs and what our plans for the future are. And so we'll be looking for those opportunities. And certainly if you have ideas, we would love to hear them. And you could do that either through the survey or email us or emailing me directly. And
I do need to mention that I just asked Amy to join us as a panelist so that you can see her by video if she wants. So she may have to do a few things on her end. But if you guys have any suggestions or opportunities or connections that you think we could use to engage that age demographic in Lee County, we'd love to have that feedback from you. So, if there are ways you can think of to engage with teachers during the summer or school kids during the summer to be able to make that happen. I would note too that a large part of our community engagement process is typically to have a physical presence at places that the youth might normally be. So at the Boys and Girls Club or at the YMCA or at events that happen in Lee County. For a brief period of time, we even had a whiteboard up at the county offices where you could walk by and write your answers to questions down on the whiteboard. So I think that, the COVID pandemic has really restricted our issues related to safety, and now we're limited to some virtual topics. On the other hand, I do know kids are on virtual quite a bit, so please do give us any thoughts or feedback. Look, Amy's back.
Sorry.
I apologize doing that too. I just wanted us to be able to see you. So
No. Oh, well, I don't know about all that, but sorry, my internet just got a little wonky there, but yeah, I can hear you again. Good.
Perfect. We were still talking about kids, so please go
Okay.
ahead.
On the kids thing, I was going to say, and I don't know why it hadn't occurred to me before. I think we're just pandemicked, all of us. But the Young Commissioners Group, and I don't know if you guys have heard about that or not, but we've partnered with 4-H, and we have a Young Commissioners Group. Typically, we have between 10 and 15 high school students that apply to be young commissioners, and they meet for a couple of weeks in the summer, and, you know, shadow lots of different government workers, county government, city government, town government, and sheriff, and they learn a lot. And we have a big alumni group, and the age for the alumni group now, I'm thinking back how many years we've done it, is probably 16 years old to about 22 or 23 years old. So I can talk with Bill Stone, who's our cooperative extension director, and reach out to those young people and at least make sure that we give them a little homework to fill out the survey for us, if you think that would be good, because they're all really committed. I run into them all the time, and you know, they're still very active and dialed in to local government. Matter of fact, a couple of them serve on our boards. So I'll do that.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'd appreciate that. Zach, can you go back to the mission for a moment for me?
Yeah.
So as Zach mentioned, you know, there's a difference between the mission and the vision. The mission is really sort of the purpose behind Lee County government. It tends to be pretty straightforward, pretty boring, although this one isn't that boring, quite frankly. I really like it. But it tends to be really straightforward. And I hear sometimes, wow, this sounds like a lot of the other mission statements from various counties. And that's quite true, because most counties and cities have very similar purposes in life. They exist to do very similar things. Whereas the vision, if you could switch back down to that, Zach, that's more aspirational, right? I mean, this is something you can really get behind. This is something that you, when you're reading it or when you're seeing it or when you're sharing it, it should put a smile on your face. It should really resonate with you. It should be something where you think to yourself, yeah, and that's why I like living here, because this is what we're working toward. And some of it's true right now today, absolutely. And then some of it is still, you're still really working to make that even better and to enhance it even more. And then the values for me are really the way you live that vision and that mission. So everything that Lee County government does to continue their mission and to achieve the vision, they're going to do it with integrity. They're going to be inclusive. They're going to hold themselves accountable. They're going to make sure it's done competently. They're going to make sure they're welcoming, and of course that they're visionary and looking forward into the future as they're doing these. So I think when you move on to those key areas of focus, as Zach said, this starts to funnel into something even more specific from here. So the examples would be, you know, under economic development, we might have a few pretty big goals there. But it all starts to happen when you're saying to yourself, okay, when I'm doing economic development, are the things I'm doing, am I doing it according to my mission? Am I supposed to be doing it? But also, is it going to allow me to realize this vision? And then finally, am I doing it based on those values? Is my economic development visionary? Is my economic development inclusive? Is my economic development welcoming? So that's how it all ties together. And I know Amy said she was really surprised that you guys were able to accomplish that much. I think it was due to your hard work. But I will say some of the really hard work now comes when we look at the community feedback and we can see if that community feedback adds or steers you in a slightly different direction, but also, you know, using that roadmap where the rubber meets the road, right? Those specific projects and action steps that are going to make this turn into reality, that can really be some hard work. So you've gone a long way, but you've got a ways to go yet. And for those of you on the webinar, any suggestions you have, truly, I can say this truly from our standpoint, but also from the Lee County government standpoint, we truly do want your feedback. This is supposed to be a very inclusive process. So spread the word. If you could do us a favor and share, I know I'm back to the survey now, aren't I? Share the survey on Facebook on your own posts, because it's one of those things where The more people that see it, the more it will remind them, especially since we're coming up on a July 3rd cutoff date. So anything you can do to help out, we'd really appreciate it.
And if I can just add real quick, sorry, to address Kimberly's question. The other thing I can do, at least in the short term, is reach out to Lee County Schools, who is a good partner with the county, just to see if they'd be willing to share our survey links through their social media as well. To try to get parents and with a little message to parents asking them to maybe sit down and fill it out with their kids.
A great idea.
So that's something we can try to do immediately to see if we can get some feedback that way.
So there's a quick comment from Kimberly, and she just basically said thank you. She'd love to see her students involved, especially since she's appreciative of the key areas of focus. She says she works on her lessons over the summer and would love to include the information you are presenting. Are there any teen-friendly digital resources available that I can share? And I have to tell you, Kimberly, you got me at teen-friendly. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure somebody like Jamie would know. So Jamie, can you tackle that one for me?
I'm actually not sure what you mean by teen-friendly digital resources.
Like maybe, Kimberly, are you talking about like Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok and that kind of teen friendly, or something we have specifically for younger people?
Kimberly, you should be able to unmute yourself if you wanted to. If not, you're welcome just to type in the chat room, whatever works for you. So while we're waiting for Kimberly to, oh, there she unmuted herself. Please, Kimberly, go ahead. You should be good. I love technology. One of the things I love about it are these weird, awkward silences we all create as we're trying to figure out how best to get something done. Oh, looks like you're unmuted, Kimberly. So let's try it. Maybe Kimberly's having some tech difficulties because she's showing as unmuted on mine. So perhaps the chat room would end up working best, Kimberly, for the time being. But if you do get around, just holler out there. If you do find yourself unmuted, just holler out there and we'll drag you back into the conversation. So I think that if you all didn't have any more specific questions for us, we can leave you a little bit early. No reason on dragging it out unless you want to. So we'll hold on for just a few more minutes to see if Kimberly has anything she can add about teen friendly, but also note that we can reach out to you, Kimberly, via the email you may have left on Zoom. Zoom doesn't require an email, but if you did put one in, or you can always reach out by email to us. My personal email is up there at the top of the chat, and the email that we use for Jamie for all things strategic planning is about a quarter of the way down through the chat. So feel free to use either one of those to send us a direct email. Zach, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I just appreciate everyone coming out tonight and just getting acquainted with the plan and the process. It's a tried and true process, and Lee County and Lee County government's just been very impressive. And I do apologize for my office mates here barking in the background, everyone. Sorry about that, but we just appreciate everyone coming out and getting to learn the plan. Take that survey by July 3rd. The email is up on the screen. You have Sheryl and Jamie's email as well if you have any subsequent questions. And we're happy to serve, integrate, answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Jamie, is there anything else? Kimberly said she was trying to get the microphone working but didn't have any luck, so she'll just send us an email to follow up.
Right.
Jamie, was there
Yeah,
anything?
I saw that. And Kimberly, I hope you will please follow up with the email, because I'm actually very intrigued at the idea of developing resources that we could share with your classroom and then potentially share with other schools, local schools, to see how we can more regularly engage our middle school and elementary school students, just in government generally, which I think is always a good thing. So thank you.
And Amy, I would like to have you, oh, Kimberly just said one last thing here. I would love to help. I'll speak with my school next week when we return to our virtual meetings after the holiday. Thank you, Kimberly. Amy, is there anything you'd like to say before we do a final closeout and I wrap up with some logistics again?
I first, again, thank everybody for listening in and partnering with us on this. As you've seen some of our ideas from our advisory committee with the mission and vision statements and values and things, I would encourage you, as you go through this week with family and friends and coworkers, share what you've heard tonight and get some input from everybody and email us, because this really and truly, we've never had a strategic plan in Lee County, and your input is so valuable. I mean, you know, like Zach said and Sheryl, you know, this is something that's going to guide our county departments, and it's something we're going to put out to the world, you know, as far as this is who Lee County is. This is what we are, and this is how we want to be in the future. And so this is serious. It's not just an exercise. I know a lot of the times we have done things in government and we take a lot of time and then it just gets put in a notebook and stuck on a shelf. But I think the leadership and not just the elected leaders, but our county staff is really committed to putting this into action once we have it formulated and approved and good to go. So I'm really, really encouraging everybody to have some critical conversations this week and get folks to fill out the survey. I understand from Jamie, we've had, you know, close to 200 that have filled it out already. But we got, you know, at least 60,000 people in the county. So, you know, we could stand to have a few more do the survey and get it in. So I appreciate it again, your time and your effort and all you do for the county. Thanks.
And I'll have Zach hard close us in a second, but logistically speaking, when we end the webinar, what will happen is it will create a little chat text for me. So we'll save the chat text. It will also immediately create a recording, which we will make available with a link, and Jamie will send that out. We'll put it out on Facebook. We'll put it out on the website, however we can get it back out to you. So if you think anybody else should watch this webinar, it will be available for viewing after this. And once we do close, I know this is a Zoom thing, but down in your lower right-hand corner, you should see a nice little red box. Do make sure you click that, and it's going to pop up a window that says, "Are you sure?" Make sure you click that. Otherwise, if it were Zach, we'd be listening to his puppies bark for quite some time. So you do have to hard close. Before Zach says goodbye, I'd just like to say thank you. I know you took some time out of your evening to spend with us, and I really appreciate that. Turn it back over to Zach.
Well, thank you everyone this evening, and we will await and see any subsequent comments. We appreciate the direction and the youth, and appreciate Jamie, Sheryl, and Amy for helping out this evening. And like we said before, none of us are as smart as all of us, and the world is changed by those that show up. So we appreciate you all coming out tonight, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Take care, everybody. Be safe.
We will stop recording.